Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to clear up the blurriness involving budgeting. And speaking of that, wow, I can see without my glasses. Amazing. Anyway, and this video calls for one of my favorite props, the screwdriver that I used in the credit card video. If you haven't checked that one out already, please check it out. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So before we get started discussing budgeting, one thing that surprised me, and that I think may surprise some of you, is what the actual median income in the United States has gone up to. And I looked at two different sources because I was surprised myself. It's gone up quite a bit in the last several years. It's up to about $68,000, which seemed pretty high. So I thought, how can that be? Is it the more populous states that kind of skew it? Or is it our favorite 1%? Could be one of two factors that skew the numbers upward. But remember, median and average are different, and this isn't a math class, so we won't get into that. But this is actually a source from the St. Louis Fed showing, and what really surprised me actually, going back to the 80s, it had the median income at like $55,000. Between like 50 and 55,000, so that seemed kind of high for the 80s. I know a lot of people that were around back then that didn't make that, so that seems kind of high. But you can see how the chart's gone up over and over. And then here in the gray, these represent recessions, and the wider they are, the longer the recession was. But anyway, that's not what this video is about. My second source that I pulled for median income, this goes from 1990 to 2019, and you can see in the last several years it went like straight up precipitously. And income is also a function of inflation, which is also a function of cash losing value, like I've pointed out in so many of my other videos, the investing one and the credit card one. Remember to check both of those out too. So with that being said, this is something I want to emphasize in as many videos as possible, that cash loses value over time because of inflation. So while your wages may go up over time, your purchasing power of those wages also goes down, and this ties into why you should invest and budget properly. And remember, these are suggestions. These are not me telling you what to do. I'm often in these videos sharing things that have worked for me, and I hope they work for you as well. So to start off in the discussion about budgeting, I pulled up a chart from a source called My Money Coach. And this is a pie chart of what your allocation maybe should run at per month, a general guideline. So generally, for most households, or most folks, housing is one of their biggest expenses. Whether you have a mortgage or rent, you know that housing values are going up, rents are going up, so it makes sense that housing would be one of our biggest expenses. So this pie chart shows 35% allocated to housing. And then the second highest is actually transportation. And as we've seen in the past year, transportation costs are rising between fuel, and if you drive an electric car, the costs of that are significantly high, but we hope those may come down over time. But that, according to this, was the second biggest chunk of the pie chart. And then food can represent anywhere from 10 to 20%. And remember, this is just a general guideline. This is a consensus of what many households may budget, but not all. So general guideline, not saying that this has to be what you do. And then debt payments, according to this, it shows 5 to 15%. But as we know, debt is very common, and there are a lot of folks that have probably a higher debt percentage than this. And then personal and discretionary. This is a category, as you'll see in the next slide, that's very commonly over-allocated. And this is one of the key points that I want this video to help you to improve, is the allocation to those categories. You want to try to reduce your debt and reduce discretionary spending, if possible. Savings is often an under-allocated bucket. And I know a lot of folks feel like they can't save, but when we really want to get ahead and move to the next levels in life, it's something we really have to try to focus on. And it is hard for a lot of people. I understand. It was hard for me at first. But it's something we really do want to try to do. And then utilities, which is another bucket that's going up. According to this, it shows 5%. Clothing, 3 to 5%. This is another commonly over-allocated bucket. And then medical. Medical is something that can also be significantly higher for various folks. And that one's kind of tricky because it's hard to reduce medical expenses if you need a lot of medical care. So that one's kind of harder to reduce, which is why it's so important to reduce these other buckets if you can, one of the reasons. Now, in some cases, if you're lucky enough to not have a housing expense, like this pie chart shows, this is one of the biggest allocations of the whole, actually is the biggest allocation of the whole pie chart. If you're lucky or fortunate enough not to have this expense, that's a huge benefit to you because this is a cost that most people seem to have. So if by chance you're able to not have this, that gives you a third of your income, according to this, that can go into other buckets. So that's a huge benefit that's very important to take advantage of. Now on this slide, this goes into a little bit further detail of what you just saw on the last slide with the pie chart. And like I was mentioning, these are the buckets here, and I actually circled 3 of them that are very commonly over-allocated. At the top, clothing. A lot of folks tend to spend a lot of money on clothing and designer clothing, and very often you can find that that bucket can be reduced. And then the next one, which you'll notice has the biggest circle, and that's for a reason, that is debt payments. According to this, 5 to 15% allocation for debt payments, but again, a lot of households have much higher debt. And that's something that can really cannibalize your financial future if you're not able to get that under control. And we'll have other videos in the future on how to reduce debt. Some ideas for that will come in this video. And then at the bottom, personal and discretionary, that's another big circle because this is another very commonly over-allocated one. And you see it consists of entertainment, recreation, tobacco, which is not maybe as common, alcohol, eating out, gaming, and hobbies. So this discretionary spending is typically one of the prime targets that can be cut. So hopefully that was helpful. Now to get into the meat and potatoes of the discussion, this is actually my own personal budget template that I included here. And this is a mock budget for the year 2022, which is our upcoming next year. And it's kind of small here, but I'll pull up the actual template itself later. This is a variation of what I use in my own personal financial situation. And for income, so I included some generic numbers. I went ahead and took that number that they showed in my 2 sources for the average or the median income in the United States, the 68,500. At the bottom here, you'll see that this budget actually ends in the black for the year, which is positive. That's what we want to do. And what I did for this, you notice the greens and the red, it looks like Christmas colors or holiday colors. And it also looks like candlestick charts, which was one of my last videos that you should definitely check out and smash the like button on. It's neat. I didn't even plan that out, but looks like candlestick charts for budgets. How about that? So green is positive, red is negative. Now for me, I tend to have 2 months out of the year that I go in the red, and it's usually because of taxes, property taxes and income taxes. So April is always tax season, and that's typically when a lot of folks may owe some tax payments, and for me, that tends to take me in the red for that month. And then for the month of November, which is when I get my property tax, that takes me in the red for that month as well. So 2 months out of 12 months in the red is not too bad, but the goal is to have the green offset the red. And you don't want to overspend if you can avoid it. So in this budget, I based the income based on, again, the median income, and allocating for savings, 401k, things like that, medical, and all of your other annual expenses here. And like I said, it leaves some money left over. So this, after all of the payroll deductions in this example budget, this person would have about $4,000 a month to spend every month. So, and with that, according to this budget, they're able to be in the green 10 out of 12 months, and in the red 2 out of 10 months. So not too bad. And if this isn't big enough for you, I'll pull up the actual spreadsheet towards the end of this video. It'll be bonus content. So with that being said, I wanted to include some budgeting tips that have worked well for me. So remembering the last slide, if your net income is $4,000 per month and your fixed expenses are around $3,000 per month, that leaves about $1,000 left over. So I'm going to take you through some examples, and let's think about if you should or should not do those. So the first one, should you save or invest the money? Yes, you should. We'll do like a game show here. The second one, should you take that amazing vacation now, far exceeding your $1,000 left over, and carry a balance on your 25% APR credit card, and then make the minimum payments because hashtag YOLO? What do you think? Survey says shouldn't do that one. You want to try to plan for those things. You want to not allow your expenses to exceed your income if you can avoid it. Now the next one, should you plan vacations for the year? Because, I mean, we all need vacations. We all need fun. I mean, we're human beings. We can't cut all of that out, or maybe any of it out. So should you plan vacations for the year and budget the money, or pay with an interest-free promo card? What do you think? That's one you should do. Now the fourth one, if you're in this situation, should you eat out at expensive places daily, spending over your $1,000 you have left over up here, order lots of expensive food and booze, which sounds exciting, then carry the overage balance on a high-interest card, and then complain that you can't get ahead because the system's unfair? What do you think that one is? Survey says. And for that one, I got to give that one a double. Head shake there. And unfortunately, with budgeting, a lot of times we feel things are outside of our control, but we have to take as much within our control as we can. So it's not really cool for us to say the system's unfair when we're just blowing everything we have and then some. And then we're going to carry balances like that on a high interest card and keep paying so much more over and over that goes straight to the debt collectors. Money that you could have in your pocket. So that's why that one got a double buzzer. Now the last one, with this situation, should you have some nice dinners and entertainment within your limit, carry the statement balance on the card that you pay with, and then auto pay it in full when it's due, not accruing any interest. How does that one sound? That one is a good one. So those are some general tips on those scenarios there. Now with that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, but we're not done yet. I have some bonus content for you today. So because you stayed tuned to this video for so long, I'm going to show you the budget template in Excel. And I can send this to you if you want to comment in the comment section. We can arrange to have that sent to you because I want to do this to help people out. And I think this template that I've used for myself it's been very helpful for me, and it can also be helpful for you. So let's see here. So this is the template, a little bit bigger. And what's neat about this template is that everything is formulaic because it's in Excel. So for the month of January in the template, and remember these are just generic expenses here and generic numbers. January has a sum of all the expenses against the income for the month. Let me zoom in on that for you. So for the month of January, as in all months, I show $2,000, $2,000 in base income, and also I threw in a $1,000 bonus since you stayed tuned to this video this long. So with that, for the month of January, you would be $1,000 in the black. And with the same scenario, without the bonus, because that only comes once a year, you're down back to your $4,000, but you're still $775 in the black for the month of February, and so on and so forth. And what's really neat about this template is that because it's in Excel, all the cells link together and they all calculate in the annual tab. So you see, like for mortgage and for credit cards, what you spend each month, and it's summed in the annual tab here to the right. And if I go all the way down to the bottom, now this recommends a very high allocation into the 401k, which a lot of people can't do, but that's actually the maximum that anyone can put into the 401k. That's why you may wonder why there's $68,000 here, but only $4,000 per month. You'll say, where's that? And remember, this is generic. Some of this may be wrong. It may not factor in everything, but it's a general guideline. And it comes out in the black. So that's the good thing. And thank you so much for staying tuned to this video for so long. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a lot of value out of this one. And I hope this is a very enjoyed and liked video. And have a great rest of your day. Thank you.